The wind howled like a banshee, its eerie wail echoing through the night, sending shivers down Adam's spine. Rain lashed against Adam's window pane, each drop a tiny hammer beating a relentless rhythm. The old oak tree in his backyard swayed dangerously, its branches scratching against the roof like skeletal fingers trying to claw their way inside. It was a night like this, years ago, that his parents had perished in a car crash. The memory of that tragic night haunted him, the storm a cruel reminder of his loss. Adam was home alone, as he always was these days. The house, once filled with laughter and warmth, now felt like a cold, empty shell. He sat by the window, a book lying forgotten in his lap. The words on the pages couldn't hold his attention. His mind was elsewhere, lost in the storm outside. His eyes were drawn to the old box lying beneath the oak tree, half buried in the mud. It had always been there, a mysterious relic from a past he couldn't remember. He had tried to dig it out before, but it was no use. The earth seemed to cling to it as if protecting its secrets. The storm seemed to have unearthed it further, the relentless rain washing away the mud that had kept it hidden for so long. Curiosity piqued, Adam pulled on his raincoat and ventured out. The storm was fierce, but his need to uncover the box's secrets was stronger. The wind tore at his clothes as he waded through the muddy yard. Each step was a struggle, the ground sucking at his boots, but he pressed on. Reaching the oak tree, he saw the box was open, revealing a beautifully crafted wooden chest with strange symbols carved into its surface. The symbols seemed to glow faintly in the storm's light. As Adam reached out to touch it, a bolt of lightning illuminated the sky, revealing a single inscription etched on the inside of the lid. "Make your wish, but pay the price." The word sent a chill down his spine, but he couldn't look away. What could it mean? What price would he have to pay? Back inside, towel drying his hair, Adam couldn't shake the feeling of unease. He examined the box more closely. It looked ancient, the wood polished smooth by years of handling. He traced the inscription with his finger, his heart pounding in his chest. "Make your wish, but pay the price." What did it mean? What price? Was it just a silly trinket or something more? Adam laughed at his own foolishness, yet he couldn't ignore the pull of the inscription. On a whim, he grabbed a piece of paper and scribbled down the first thing that came to mind: "I wish for $1 million. Folding the paper carefully, he placed it inside the box and closed the lid. The next morning, Adam awoke to the shrill ringing of the phone. It was his lawyer, informing him of his Uncle Howard's sudden passing. Adam was his sole heir. At first, Adam was devastated. He had loved his uncle dearly. But as the days passed and the will was read, a strange mix of guilt and relief washed over him. Uncle Howard had been a recluse, estranged from his family. He had lived a life of solitude, his considerable wealth accumulating over the years. Adam inherited everything. He moved into his uncle's mansion, his life transformed overnight. He had the money he wished for, but at what cost? The thought haunted him. He couldn't shake the feeling that his uncle's death was somehow connected to the box. His unease grew with each passing day. His best friend Emily was in a car accident and was now in a coma. His beloved dog Lucky was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive illness. Fear gnawed at Adam. He tried to convince himself it was all just a horrible coincidence, but deep down, he knew the truth. The box was no ordinary box, it was cursed. He retrieved the box from the attic where he had hidden it away. The wood felt cold beneath his fingers. He pried it open and stared at the inscription, "Make your wish, but pay the price." The words seemed to mock him. He had made his wish, and now he was paying the price. But what was the connection? What was the pattern? Adam paced his room, his mind racing. He thought about his wishes. He had wished for wealth, and his uncle had died, leaving him his fortune. Was that the price, the death of someone he loved? Adam spent days poring over books on ancient lore and mythology, searching for any mention of cursed boxes or wish-granting artifacts. He found countless tales of wishes gone wrong, of people consumed by greed and ambition, their lives left in ruins. He realized that his wish had been driven by selfishness. He had wanted wealth for himself without considering the consequences. He had been so focused on what he could gain that he had failed to see the price he would have to pay. The inscription hadn't said anything about the wishes having to be selfish for there to be a price. What if it was the opposite? What if selfless wishes brought blessings instead of sorrow? Section 6. A Change of Heart. Adam knew what he had to do. The weight of his decision pressed heavily on his shoulders, but he was resolute. He had spent countless nights pondering over the right course of action, and now, clarity had finally dawned upon him. He had to use the box for good. This box, a family heirloom, was said to possess mystical powers. It had been passed down through generations, each owner using it to fulfill their deepest desires. But Adam knew that with great power came great responsibility. He had to make things right. The mistakes of the past weighed heavily on his conscience, and he was determined to set things straight. The box was his only hope, his last resort. He had to find a way to break the curse that had plagued his family for generations, bringing misfortune and sorrow. Adam believed that by using the box selflessly he could finally end the cycle of suffering. He thought about Emily, lying in her hospital bed, her life hanging by a thread. Emily, the love of his life, who had been struck by a mysterious illness. The doctors were baffled, unable to diagnose or treat her condition. He wished with all his heart that she would wake up. Every night he prayed for a miracle, hoping that the box would grant him this one wish. He believed in its power, even if it seemed like a long shot. He wished for her to be whole again, to see her smile, to hear her laugh, to hold her in his arms once more. These were the simple joys he longed for, the moments he cherished. He wished for her to have a long and happy life, a life free from pain and suffering, filled with love and happiness. This was his deepest desire, his ultimate goal. He grabbed a piece of paper and scribbled down his wish. His hands trembled as he wrote, but his heart was steadfast. This was his last hope, his final plea to the universe. This time, there was no hesitation, no fear, only hope and love. He knew that his intentions were pure, and that gave him strength. He believed that love could conquer all, even the darkest of curses. He placed the paper in the box, closed the lid, and waited. The seconds felt like hours, the anticipation almost unbearable. But he remained patient, trusting in the process. Days turned into weeks, and still, there was no change in Emily's condition. The waiting was agonizing, but Adam refused to lose hope. He believed that miracles took time. Adam refused to give up hope. He knew that giving up was not an option. His love for Emily was unwavering, and he was determined to see this through. He visited her every day, talking to her, reading to her, holding her hand. He believed that his presence and his love could reach her, even in her unconscious state. He poured all his love and energy into his wish, hoping that somehow it would be enough. He knew that love was the most powerful force in the universe, and he hoped that it would be enough to bring Emily back to him. Section 7. A Wish for Healing. One day, as Adam sat by Emily's bedside, he noticed a faint tremor in her hand. He called for the nurse, his heart pounding in his chest. The nurse checked Emily's vitals and smiled. "I think she's waking up," she said, and she was right. Slowly, Emily's eyes fluttered open. It was a miracle. Adam was overjoyed. His wish had come true. Emily was going to be okay. The curse was broken. Relief washed over him, followed by a profound sense of gratitude. But there were still others who had been hurt because of his greed. Lucky was still sick. Adam knew he had to help him too. He made another wish, this time for Lucky to be healed. To his relief, Lucky began to regain his health. His energy returned, and he was back to his old self in no time. Section 8. The Power of Selflessness. Adam continued to use the box to help others. He wished for an end to poverty, for a cure for cancer, for world peace, and slowly, he began to see a change in the world around him. He sold his uncle's mansion and moved into a modest home. He donated most of his wealth to charities and organizations dedicated to making the world a better place. He realized that true happiness didn't come from material possessions or selfish desires. It came from using his gifts to help others, to make a difference in the world. He had learned a valuable lesson about the nature of greed and the power of selflessness. He had discovered that the greatest gift one could receive was the gift of giving. Section 9. A Happy Ending. Years later, Adam was no longer the scared young man who had found the cursed box on that stormy night. He had grown and evolved, shedding the layers of fear and uncertainty that once defined him. The journey he had embarked on had transformed him in ways he could never have imagined. He was a changed man, a man of compassion and generosity. Adam had dedicated his life to helping others, finding joy in the simple act of giving. He volunteered at local shelters, offered his time to community projects, and always extended a helping hand to those in need. He had found love with a kind and caring woman who shared his values. Together they built a life rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Their love was a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of kindness and the beauty of shared dreams. They had a family of their own, and he taught his children the importance of kindness, generosity, and the true meaning of happiness. Adam and his wife instilled in their children the values that had guided their own lives, ensuring that the next generation would carry forward the legacy of love and compassion. The wishing box sat on a shelf in his study, a reminder of his past mistakes and the incredible journey it had taken him on. It was no longer a source of fear but a symbol of growth and transformation. The box had taught him valuable lessons about life, love, and the importance of using one's gifts for good. He no longer feared the box. Instead, he saw it as a testament to his resilience and the power of change. It was a constant reminder of how far he had come and the strength he had found within himself. He embraced it as a symbol of the transformative power of selflessness and the importance of using one's gifts for good. Adam had learned that true happiness came from within, from the choices he made and the actions he took to better the world around him. He had finally found true happiness, a happiness that came from within, a happiness that was not dependent on material possessions or external validation. It was a deep, abiding joy that filled his days with purpose and his nights with peace. It was a happiness that came from knowing that he had made a difference in the world, that he had used his life to spread love, kindness, and generosity. Adam's actions had a ripple effect, touching countless lives and inspiring others to follow in his footsteps. And in the end, that was all that truly mattered. The legacy of love and kindness he left behind was his greatest achievement, a testament to a life well lived and a heart full of compassion.